Hi there, I'm Bea, a mixed media artist. Join me as I explore art and creativity, one project at a time.
Hey everybody, welcome back. So glad you joined me today for another video. And if you are new here, I'm glad you are here. I really appreciate my subscribers. Now onto the table. I did lately a poppy painting, one of those wild poppies, and it is 40 by 40 centimeters. It doesn't have really room in here. 40 by 40 centimeter is roughly 15 by 15 inches, a little bit more than 15 by 15 inches. And yeah, it's going to be a time lapse again. I'm probably going to do either spoken captions or written captions, just so that you get an idea what I have done, what I have used, and maybe some of my thought about the process and things like that. I hope you enjoy the time-lapse, and I hope to see you soon again. Take care. Bye.
Heads up, this video is a little bit longer than usual. Feel free to pause, grab a tea or watch in your own time. Okay, here we go with the painting. Now, as you can see, I have a deep canvas. As I said in the intro, it's a 40 by 40 centimeter canvas. I like to work on the deep canvases. It's about 4 centimeters deep, which is roughly 2 inches. Anyway, usually I do cover the whole white background with a background color. Sometimes it is a hot pink, sometimes it is like here a fluorescent yellow. I didn't always do that, but lately I have started doing just a really fluorescent background, just to make a really bold, vibrant painting. Now, usually I do start by doing the background color, like the hot pink or the fluorescent yellow first, all over. But somehow this time I was so eager to sketch in the poppy that I forgot about the background. So I have to go around my sketch here so that I don't lose my lines where I have to paint the petals and whatnot. Next, I had to let dry a little bit that background, and then here I am back with my palette, which is, by the way, still from the art journal page I did with the poppy. I will put the link in the description in case you want to see what I did there. Now, as you can see, it is not my plan to leave that yellow. It is just a background, and it just makes the color a little bit different if you add a background first. It also helps with the scary white canvas, which isn't quite true in here because the poppy is still white. But I'm not the person that is so scared of white backgrounds. I easily can just start on a white background. Also, it is fun to have like maybe mixed media backgrounds with collage, but that's another story. Back to the painting here. As you can see, I go again around the poppy. The sketch of the poppy. I had some hairs. I do have a cat. Sometimes you have hairs in your brushes, which isn't really helpful. Still trying to get rid of that hair. You can see it with the tweezers, but hey, that's life. Anyway, I'm doing the background here with premixed colors. I do sometimes make too much paints. I just recently bought this Masters and Stay Wet palette, so I still have it in those little cups, which do have a lid, so I can keep them for a while. It is sometimes hard for me to decide how much paint I do need, and the other point is sometimes you start mixing a color, and until you get it right, you get a bit more paint than what you actually need. I try to start with the background petals and then work my way up to the foreground. Seems to be easier for me. Now, for once, I'm not painting my subject over onto the edges, which I do most of the time, but sometimes I have just to change up things a little bit. To keep the video from getting too long, I've sped up this part about 8 times. But I would love to hear if you'd prefer more real-time painting to follow along at your own pace. I would love to know your thoughts about future videos. Now about the brush I use. I use mostly flat brushes, I just prefer them, and I have mostly synthetic bristles. I did inherit some brushes from my mom with real hair, but if I buy synthetics. Nowadays they are so good you can do anything with them. As you can see, I did switch up the color a little bit for the next petal. And another thing, not sure whether you have noticed or not, I try to do the strokes in the direction as the petals go. It just helps to make it a little bit more looking like a petal. Now, as always, it is just the first layer. If you watch the video till the end, you're going to see I go over again and do more highlights and shadows. It is just the way how you get depth in your painting. Just one layer is usually not working so well. From now on, I leave you with some music and I will step in if I have to say something or to explain something. Enjoy! Just quick stepping in, on the left you can see the reference photo, which is, as I mentioned, from Pixabay. I did remove the background just to have only the poppy. By the way, I've recently rearranged my studio to make it feel a bit more airy, and after almost 2 years I think I finally settled into this much smaller space. It took a while, but it's starting to feel like home. Let me know if you would be interested in a dedicated studio tour video. I'd happy to share how I made it work. I'm using yellow for the highlights instead of white, because I want this poppy to stay a vibrant red, not to turn pink. As you probably know, mixing red and white gives you pink, and that's not the look I'm going for here. For the shadows, I like to use either Payne's grey or a touch of Dioxazine purple. It just depends on the mood I'm after, but both give a lovely depth without making things look too harsh. If you're struggling to figure out where the shadows go, don't worry, you're not alone. In the upper left corner you just can spot the black and white version of the same image. This is a little trick I use. Just lower the saturation of a photo and it really helps to see the light and the dark areas more clearly. I just love poppies. Do you love them too? The color is so bold and vibrant, yet the petals are so delicate and paper thin. And still, despite all that fragility, the whole flower holds its ground. There is something really inspiring about that. Back to the background. As you can see, I started with this greenish tone, but I'm also added a few strokes of red in different places to tie everything together. Now I'm layering on the final color, a mix of Titan buff and greenish yellow. mostly tight and buff. I'm using short, varied brushstrokes to bring in some energy, and at the same time I let parts of the first layer peek through. I just love when the painting has a kind of depth and texture. There's certainly a touch of Georgia O'Keeffe in this piece. This puppy is 6 or 7 times larger than real life. But I love how this scale lets me explore every curve, every shadow, and it is almost like stepping inside the flower itself. Do you find yourself drawn to painting things larger than life too? Here I'm using a liner brush for final details along the contour, and I'm also adding some strokes into the petal. Back on the background, I decided I want to have more greenish corners, and so I did use the green from the Masterson palette and from the mixture, the Titan Buff and the greenish yellow I used before. In case you are wondering if I have this all planned out, nope. I usually just start with a general idea about the subject, but then I let the process guide me. It's a bit of intuition, a bit of trial and error, and a lot of trusting the flow. I hope this gave you a little spark of inspiration. If you create something I'd love to see, don't forget to tag me on Instagram at Mixed Media Bear Group so I can cheer you on.